go from food and pastry and all those wonderful things to beer. So let me welcome Ken, and he'll talk about his beer world.
I was giving a talk over the weekend at the Whistler Beer Festival, and I was eating some chocolate, and I found out that you shouldn't eat chocolate before you talk, but beer's okay. My safety blanket, just in case I need it. So my name's Ken Beattie. I wear a couple of hats, and I'm going to be quite a bit different in what we're speaking about today because I don't own a brewery, but I do own a business that teaches beer education called Eureka Beer Guide. Not the guy, but guide you somewhere. I will get to that a bit later. But Richard asked me here to talk about innovation in the craft beer industry. And basically, I had to think about how are we going to do this, because like all of the people who have spoken here, it's really about passion. It's a bit different in the beer industry because really not only is it about passion, but it's about battling giants is kind of my theme here. You're taking on the giants. You're taking on who would ever get in a business where the competitor has 90+ market share, the competitor has millions of dollars in advertising budgets, the competitor has millions of dollars in street on the feet to beat you, and they're just able to pretty much do what they want, when they want, as they want, historically. But in 1982, one of the speakers and Steve talked about passion. Well, 1982, just for kind of a quick history, is that in 79, there was a beer strike, 8.5 months long in 1978. I happened to be 18 at the time, could get in the liquor store, it was horrific. The only beer you could get came from across the states if you could get it. So thankfully, the passion and the experience of one gentleman who owned the Troller Pub in Horseshoe Bay, he decided, John Mitchell and Frank Appleton, to make their own beer. And it took them 3 years to get through their innovation in the process to start this in Vancouver. But they finally, or in North Vancouver at the time, Horseshoe Bay, they finally got it figured out. And they opened the first craft brewery in Canada in 1982. So if we kind of flash forward to where we are now, what I also do when I'm not teaching beer education is I'm the executive director of the Craft Brewers Guild. So I look after the 70 to 80+ breweries that are opening. I'd like to tell you how many there are, right exactly, but by the time I might be finished, there might be another one open today. So it's an incredible place to be. So though I'm not directly involved in innovation, I am surrounded by 80 incredible entrepreneurs and innovators anytime I talk to them. So what have I found after my 25 years in the industry? What I found is there's a diversity. Why do we go there? Well, we go there for the same reason that you're making your milk and you're making your yamas and you guys are doing tango and you're making chocolate. There's a quality position there. And it's about the quality. And it's about the fact that I can go to your store and meet you. This is the point of difference in the brewing industry right now. For me, it's a diversity of selection and styles, so it's just not the same thing that we always thought. And I forgot to hit the go button on the 10-minute play. I'm going to talk 20 seconds, right? Okay, good. I'll try to hit it, Richard, I'm sorry. So it's about selection of styles. It's about a choice in flavors versus what we're used to. So 60% of the world's population drinks basically Pilsner beers. They're what we think is, Richard thought I was drinking coffee. I'm not, I'm drinking a Hoyne dark matter beer. It looks like coffee, but it is not, which is good sometimes at breakfast. So flavor choices, it's classic versus new, it's fusion. There's basically, for the most part, about 80 different styles of beer, but there's hundreds of different fusions you can do with the beer. So the brewmasters are really like chefs. They're consistently choosing something new, and because we're 2 thumbs away from any piece of information we ever want at any time, that we want change and selection in this as you had said, instant gratification, Paul. Well, the instant gratification now basically for the brewing industry is this selection of styles and this change in style. There's also ease to access, and that ease to access is the fact that I'm not going to a manufacturing plant, I'm going to a storefront to get my beer. And chances are when I go to the storefront to get my beer, I'm talking to the person who made the beer. If I go to Brass Neck on Main Street, chances are if I'm there at 2 o'clock, Conrad the brewer is pouring my growler for me. So that has been a very interesting change in the beer scene, in an innovation that no one really expected. Like most things in the world, what's old comes back again, but people were filling growlers back in the 1800s, and that's what happened. You sent your son, probably not your daughter, but your son down to grab your beer, draft beer, and run it home, and the reason it's called a growler is it whistled and it when you got there, and so that's the historical significance of it. The second kind of interesting thing, or that is the difference, is this sense of local, and everyone has mentioned it. That's why we're here. We're in a vibrant city for food and culture, and world-renowned city. And that ease of location, in the brewing industry is interesting versus the wine industry, which is we're not climate controlled in the brewing industry. So the ingredients don't have to grow in where the manufacturing or the brewer is. We're able to we're not on the Naramata bench, we're in Valemont, we're in Prince Rupert, we're in Quesnel. Not many people would have thought there'd be brewing in a fantastic Belgian-trained brewer in Valorem. With that comes the people. So in the other shift is, it takes people to make the dreams, to take the innovation. It's not done by machines. So virtually there's a kind of rule of thumb is for every craft brewer versus a larger brewer, 8 people work in the craft brewery versus the machine filling the line, for lack of a better example. So when you go to the craft brewery, you're literally watching somebody fill their bottles, the 650 ml bottle, 2 at a time or 1 at a time basically. There's all this spin-off that happens from the local. So we have beer tours, we have bicycle tours that I was talking to somebody about, they took. We have education, whether it be my own personal beer education program, EurekaBeerGuide.com, shameless self-promotion, or because it's so important right now, basically what's happened is Kwantlen Polytech University in Langley has opened the first education diploma program, 2-year program in, they've sold out the course, first 30 brewers, 2 years program. So that, there's all this spin-off, not only the wine culture, obviously here, and the food culture, but now we have a beer culture. Basically, as I said, 80 breweries, soon to be 100 breweries by probably this time or by next Christmas, let's say. And finally, there's the agricultural aspect of that. So as you're unable to get local hazelnuts, we can't get local in the brewing industry. We can get some hops, but we can't get the hops to meet the demand. And we're not sure if the hops, because this used to be a fantastic hop growing region back in the mid-1900s, we're not now able to, there's not enough growth. But a couple of people innovate, such as you had referenced Mark Brandt. Well, Mark Brandt is involved with Persephone Brewery on the Sunshine Coast. And they have 11 acres of land, of which 1 acre at this moment, soon to be 5 acres, is dedicated to their own hops. So they buy their own, make their own hops, grow their own hops, and put it into their beer. Cranog in Sorrento has been doing this for years. They're the first organic brewery in North America, basically. So we, as the Craft Brewers Guild, are lobbying the government to get us more involved, get farmers more involved in this. Some of the grape growing regions aren't producing the right amount of grapes or the quality of the grapes that we want, I've got a good idea what you could put on there. Hops will work, or malts. So the last thing that I wanted to touch on was this sense of community that you also touched on. And the sense of community is, the difference is for a guy who worked at a major foreign-owned brewery, I wouldn't have crossed the street to meet or help, or even, I would have probably crossed the street if I saw the other competitor coming that way. But there's a fraternity with the brewers and a fraternity with the brewmasters. And when you go to beer festivals, they all sit together and they all exchange ideas. They help each other with ingredients. They basically, it's grassroots how they sell. So we talked about the power of social media. It's not a marketing plan. They don't make beers that they want somebody with a white collar education, went to whatever business school, and that's what they're trying to figure out, and that's exactly what you need to get. They're just making beers they want to drink. Their passion of what they want to drink. Graham With from Parallel 49, I met him like a month ago, and we're drinking dry Irish stout in like almost as hot as it is in here today, that day. And it was basically, I'm like, Graham, what are you doing a dry Irish stout in the middle of summer? He's like, because I want to. That's his explanation. I'm like, fantastic. He said, we made it. We ran out of it. I wanted it again. I made it. So everyone always asks me, what's the difference between a craft beer and a crafty beer? And with my tongue firmly planted in my cheek, a craft beer is when the brewmaster says he's going to make a beer and he makes it, and he innovates and does whatever he wants with it. A crafty beer, or someone trying to get onto the trend, is putting in a sour wood, in a wooden barrel with some hops and maybe some yarrow and something else, because they think their research has told them that's what people want. And that's the difference, kind of, as I say with my tongue firmly put in my cheek. There's an interaction with the sense of community with the customers, and that interaction is that you have to go to source to get it. You have to go, and like you said in London, I'm of the age that I remember just in Vancouver going to the bakery and going to the butcher store. And then I went through a phase where I just went to the big mall and got whatever was there, one-stop shop. And it's come back. And I think it's come back due to this sense of instant gratification. We can get everything like that. And now we've realized we're caring about what goes in our body, we want to know what goes in our body, and we want to know where it comes from, and we want to know who makes it. And for everyone who's talked today, the theme is exactly the same, with the exception of tango, but they're hitting on the fact of something guttural, something in my heart wants me to go there, something emotional. I have an emotional connection that I don't do with a faceless big brewery that I can't walk up and talk to the brewmaster. So the final thing basically is the social media aspect of it. Again, is the word of mouth is incredible. So you don't need this big marketing budget. All you need to be is give people what they want, quality product, be passionate about what you do, treat them with respect when they come, and the rest will look after itself, because at the end of it, really the beer is the star of the show. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you.